Everyone, welcome back. I said it before and I'll say it again. It's the best time of your week and certainly the best time of ours. I'm Travis here with Jen.
It is the best time of our week. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I mean, some people will say it as some funny thing to laugh about and say, "Oh, I say that every week." No. We're truthful here.
We mean it.
We're keeping it a buck, as they say in the streets. And we have a lot to go over, so we're not even going to spend a whole bunch of pretext just talking to things. But I will say this: we had some great growth over the last couple of months. We just want to thank you all for being such a great, supportive part of the community. Other people in the company are seeing it, and we're so very happy that you're here along for the ride. And we just can't wait to see where this goes. I know that Jen and I talk about your comments and messages all the time.
Literally all the time. All the time.
Yeah, literally. Like we just message you. They're like, "Did you see this? Did you see this?" All right. So first up, we're gonna now, as I said before, as many times I've said before, you can contact us a couple different ways. There's the email, which we'll get to in a minute, and of course, if you're listening on podcast, and this seems to be the more popular thing now, which is really interesting. If you're listening to the audio podcast, the text us message is becoming the popular way to contact us, which I think is really cool. But I always think, okay, they're typing these messages, which seem almost like emails, on their phone. I don't know about you, but I can't type a whole long paragraph on my phone. Something breaks in my brain after about 2 sentences.
I feel that. I do feel that. You mean it's not like text language? Like they're not just texting?
I just think like when you, like, for example, I'm going to read this first one. It's so long, it's a paragraph. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. But then I think, oh my God, someone texted this. It seems unusual to me. Because here's the thing. You ever get a long text, like a really long text, like, uh-oh, something happened. That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
This isn't a bad thing, though. These are good. So let's get into the first one. This one's actually from my home state, Washington State. Howdy, Ben here. I have a channel I've been working on for a few months now, and I'm at 430 subs. Wild Sprout Nursery is my channel, and it's gardening, wild foraging, basketry type channel. My question is about the daily video ideas. I recently started experimenting with them. And by the way, for people who don't know, this is the vidIQ tool that we have called Daily Video Ideas. I recently started experimenting with them. The first one I made has seemed to do well in the first few days. Spent some time this weekend and shot 3 videos that were based off these daily ideas. I noticed that the overtime, the low, medium, high, and very high metric changes for those ideas, for example. One video I was thinking about making was very high, and then a few days later changed to high. I like to make videos, and what he's talking about there is like the prediction model of like how many views we think it may get for your channel. I like to make a few videos and schedule them out so I don't have to be working on something every week, but it seems like the daily ideas might be the best choice for scheduling them out since their metric might change over time. I'm curious about your opinions on this. Okay. So this is a tool. This was one of the first AI tools we came out with. I would like to tell you that the tools that are out now, plus the ones that are continuing to be worked on in vidIQ, are so much better. Now, this doesn't mean you can't use daily ideas. It's fine, but it's daily ideas. It's not really meant for, this is an idea you can use 3 months from now, because to your point, it might not be relevant 3 months from now. Daily ideas is kind of looking at what's going on right now, and like if you put something out really soon, how is it going to do? So it's not really meant for that. If you go to vidIQ.com, log in, there's a whole bunch of options there. Generate, there's all types of tools there that will help you kind of look at the type of content you could be making that could do well for your channel. But Jen, it's funny because only not that long ago, we didn't even have these tools, and we had to tell people as coaches, like, this is the type of content you should be making. So let's real quick do that for let me say this again, wild foraging, gardening, wild foraging, and basketry channel. What would you make?
I love this channel. I haven't even seen it, and I love this channel. Are you looking at their channel?
No, I haven't pulled it out. I just want to see what you
I was like,
are
they weaving baskets? Because I've done that before, and it was like the most fun thing that I've ever done.
Basket?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, I did. I actually did it in high school. I was in a crafts class. This sounds like fake.
It does. Sounds like you're making this up.
And it was my first class of the morning. And I would go in and be like, I don't even know what time high school starts, like 8:30. I don't know, I don't know what time it started. And it'd be so quiet, and I'd just be sitting there weaving my little basket, drinking coffee, and I would be in heaven.
It does sound like a vibe.
I should weave another basket.
I
Link
don't
me
see
their
anything.
channel.
I will do that. I don't see anything on the channel about weaving an actual basket. So that's one thing. He says
Oh,
basketry, and maybe he's using the baskets. This is
I
more
don't.
like gardening and stuff is what I see here, which is
I don't know
fine.
what
Nothing wrong.
actual basketry is. It could be
I didn't
like
know that was a
nothing
word.
like that. Yeah, same.
That's a word I've literally never heard of before, which I think is great. I think it's cool. So yeah, and the other thing about it is it's very seasonal. So we actually talked about this in a upcoming video or video that's, I don't even remember. We've shot so many videos that are on the main channel that I don't even remember where it is, but we talked about seasonality being one of the reasons that a video may not pop off right off the bat, might not quote do well right off the bat, because it's seasonal. And of course gardening is a very seasonal thing, and we're getting into the time of year where gardening is going to start to kind of wane a little bit, obviously, right? Because it's going to be cold outside.
A little bit. We have like a fall harvest, and unless you live in California or Florida, I guess.
Well, that's the other thing. So you always have to keep that in mind. Where you live can also dictate, can skew your opinion of what should be happening. So for example, something's really popular in your area and you're like, let me put it on YouTube. It's really popular in my area. And it doesn't do all that well. It might be that it's just popular in your area. Or in the case of what Jen just said, like if the weather just happens to be good where you live for longer than it would be everywhere else. So, yeah. What kind of content would you look for from a channel like this when the weather is not great?
Well, I mean, as soon as you hit window,
hit the windows.
I was thinking because my thoughts just jumped like two ahead. As soon as you hit winter, you're going to start seeding. And like, I was thinking like you place them in front of the window.
Oh.
So like winter, you're getting all your seeds ready for planting. So you'd probably want to move into, a lot of gardening channels do grow guides. And, if it's January, what should you be seeding now? I think it's called sowing. I don't know how to say that word. It's like SOW.
You reap what you sow. So my guess is it's sowing.
But that's what it is to like grow the seeds from like seed.
Interesting.
Like you
I don't know anything about this.
Your seed.
You said seed a lot of times.
Seed.
Seed means some seed.
So seasonally. It's probably what this person would be doing anyways. So maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Next text comes from someone in Wisconsin. It says, hey guys, I just wanted to share that I found your podcast through searching YouTube on Spotify. Oh, that's interesting.
What?
They went on Spotify.
Wait, that's super
and searched
cool.
for YouTube. That is
we
very
should demand
cool.
everyone to tell us how they found us.
Well, I did. That's why people are sending these in.
Oh, you
I did a couple weeks ago. Yeah. A couple weeks ago I did. I'm like, tell me how you found the channel. I recently started my channel, Ender Art, and wanted to listen to more YouTube tips while working on my various art projects. I have too many questions right now, but I'll be back after I think they mean later to more episodes. Thanks, which is great. That's awesome. Just to say hi. I love it.
That's amazing.
I'm constantly obsessed with how people found us. A lot of people found us through the main channel, which makes sense. But there are people who have found us through things like this, like they search for YouTube on Spotify or whatever. And by the way, and I don't know if I've mentioned this, but if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, which seems to be one of the largest podcast traffic sources we get, which is pretty common, by the way, you can leave 5-star reviews, which would be great if you would do that, because it actually helps us in their algorithm, which is interesting because as much as we talk about the YouTube algorithm, one of the things we never mention is the fact that while generally speaking, podcasts don't have an algorithm, some of the platforms do. And I know that one of the ways that Apple's, or at least used to work, is by ratings. So if you get a lot of good ratings and people say they like it, 5-star, leave some good comments, sometimes that helps. So that'd be nice.
I think you're a 5-star, Travis.
You are a 7-star. That's how this works here.
Everyone's
buy
gonna
5,
make
get 2
stars,
free.
and then 2 stars in the comment.
All right, this one's from the UK. I love it. Okay. Hey, Trat, to whom it may concern. It says HCRA, and then it's like, to me. Because listen, we know. All right. Loving the podcast advice and the help. Hope you can help me with a quick question. I have a small channel and had the idea of growing to 1,000 subscribers using YouTube Shorts. I thought that this would give the algorithm enough time to understand my niche, my audience, and who might like my content. Then at 1,000 subscribers, I can start investing more time in longer form videos. I'm hoping that YouTube then already knows who my audience is. the video, who my audience is, the video will be suggested to a more appropriate audience for making a better click-through rate. Does this make any sense, or am I wasting my time? Thank you for your help, DIY Pizza Guy, which is the coolest name I've heard of today.
Man.
It rhymes. DIY Pizza Guy.
Good.
I mean, I think if you ask 3 different YouTube coaches, you'd probably get 3 different answers. What is your answer?
I don't know if starting with shorts is the best way. I think you can hack shorts a little bit if you have a little growth with long form content first. But I don't know. I would start where you kind of want to end up. If you want to be making longs, start with longs and then utilize shorts to hopefully speed up that data. But I don't know, because I've seen success like this too. I don't know if there really is a black and white, yes, this will work, no, this will not work.
And that's pretty much all YouTube advice. Almost none of it is black and white. I mean, you could even say that even just saying, well, uploading will get you views isn't necessarily even true. I've seen tons of videos with 0 views. So there's not really any definitive. Now, is it a good strategy? I mean, it's a strategy. I think the problem is, I think there's a lot of things that it does. It sets you up to misunderstand YouTube. Understanding short form content versus long form are really 2 different mindsets. The ideas behind them are the same. Think of it as a Venn diagram where you have the circles and then the thing in the middle, right? Where there's certain things that are the same between them. And then there's some really big aspects that are not. Like in a 30-second short, you need to get every single part of the story in there and a hook of some sort to get them to hopefully watch it again. Whereas in long form content, you're trying to get people to watch as much as possible and hopefully come back eventually. Plus, the traffic sources are completely different. The shorts feed is just kind of fed through, where views are really what the click-through rate is. Views are actually impressions. Whereas with where you don't have to worry about thumbnails, where you do in long form, you got to worry about thumbnails and titles and everything. So they're different skill sets. Could it work? Sure, it could. I don't know if 1,000 subscribers is nearly enough for what you're trying to do. I think there's no problem in just throwing out some long form content at the same time. I don't really see why you would wait. The skill set is slightly different, like I said, so you might as well start learning that now. And we've talked a little bit about hooks and stuff on the main channel, and some different things that you can do to keep people watching. And as a matter of fact, Jen and I did a video that's on the main channel about shorts, why sometimes your shorts aren't being watched as much. So I think there's no reason to wait. I get what you're trying to accomplish, trying to kind of shortcut the system in a way that once you start putting out long form, you hopefully have already had your audience selected. But the thing is YouTube's looking for a short form audience. They won't be looking for a long form audience if all you have is shorts. So start now, I think, is the thing to say. All right. This one is from Chile. Could that be right? Is this really from someone from Chile? That sounds amazing. I mean, we are worldwide, if that's true.
Oh my gosh.
I would be excited by this. Okay, let's read this. Hello there, Travis, Jen, Dan, Rob, and potential guest.
Leaving room for the unknown.
Yeah. I'm Chris from Chile. Hey, let's go. We are
my
worldwide.
gosh, Chris.
Yeah, let's go. That's actually super exciting. And my channel is CC Kiki Cool. Oh, pronounced C Kensi Cool. C Kensi Cool. And I'm a gaming channel. They have the word and then they say pronounced and then it says C Kensi Cool. They knew I would have problems, Jen.
Oh my gosh. As soon as you start saying it, he's gonna be like, this is why I wrote this.
This is the most embarrassing read I've had so far. Okay. I found your podcast because one day I was bored and searched YouTube growth in Spotify. Look, that's the second time. Some people are searching on Spotify. I need to talk a little bit about this, how podcasts work on Spotify, because I do know that Spotify is really, really, really taking video podcasting seriously. Interestingly, we don't put our video podcasts on Spotify. I would love to do that. I think the problem is we put our video podcasts on YouTube. If we had this system set up through Spotify's account, what you can do, because I know this, I do this for my personal podcast, I upload the video that I use for YouTube to Spotify, and it sends it to all the other audio podcasts, and it strips out the video from the audio, so that for everyone that's not Spotify, they get the audio, and at Spotify, you get the video. We don't do that here because we're not set up that way, but it's interesting. Okay. Anyway, I found your podcast one day because I was bored and was searching YouTube growth on Spotify and found you guys. I love your content. But I would like to know if some YouTuber has music in his video and it's not copyrighted, can I use it for my own video safely? Bonus question. Are keywords in shorts important? Because I use keywords recommended by the vidIQ extension and it blew up. Love your vodcast, Chris. All right.
Let's get it, the vodcast.
Let's go. I love it. Okay. This is a great question. There's a couple aspects to it. So let's start with the first part. Using music. Now, the thing that they say here that I'm a little confused by is that if some YouTuber has music in his video and it's not copyrighted. So a couple things. Number one, every single song is copyrighted. No matter, as soon as it's created, it's copyrighted. Now, I think what you're saying is it is not something that will get claimed. My first question is, how do you know that? That's my first question. Like, how do you know? Just
I
because...
interpreted this differently.
Oh, how did you interpret it?
I feel like they heard music in a video and then went to the description, saw like where the rights were posted, and then was like, oh, that's
possible,
music that I can use, but like wondering if they can also use it. So
this is the best piece of advice I can give you when this situation happens. Don't use it. Because some people use this as a trap. And I know this is going to sound real silly, but this has actually happened where they will put videos out with music in it. And then as soon as people start using it, they'll start claiming them later. So your best bet is to use the YouTube music option. If you go to Studio, they have tons of free music there. If you want to spend a little bit of money and get some really great music, Epidemic Sound is great. But I mean, the YouTube one is free and there's tons of really great music. I used a bunch of it for the first 2 years I was on YouTube. And there's some really great tracks on there, and it continues to grow every single day. So that's under the, I think in Studio, there's it's called like Music Library or something. It's really cool. Plus, you can actually buy, quote, copyrighted songs to use in your music. In other words, like popular music that's on the radio, you can now finally either pay for it or at the very least understand the impact on your channel if you were to use those songs. So YouTube, for the first time in a long time, is finally telling you, you don't have to guess anymore. We're just going to tell you, which is awesome.
Wait, have you looked at any of the prices?
Some of them. So here's the thing. I was a part of the initial beta, like before it was even announced. And some people were charged. I'm like, do these people not understand that people are never going to pay the prices? Like some people wanted $20, $30, $50, $100 for their song. And I'm like,
that's what I was thinking. Like $300 for like some Snoop Dogg or something.
No, it's not going to happen. Now, there are options where some of them will allow you to share the revenue, which is a pretty decent deal. Some of them will just tell you, well, we're just going to claim it, but you can use it, right? You're not going to get a strike. So a strike and claim, as we talked about. Yeah, those are fine. So for people who are new, and we got to remember, Jen, a lot of new people here, strike and claims, copyright strike and a copyright claim are not the same things. Copyright claim means that the money made from that video will go to the artist. It is not a bad thing, doesn't hurt your channel. It's more annoying than anything. A copyright strike is the thing where you get 3 strikes, you're out. So you don't want that one. But the claims are typically what's used in music. So,
you gotta go to YouTube school. You gotta go to strike school.
You do, which is a thing.
I haven't been to strike school yet.
I will never go to strike school.
I kind of wish I had for experience, but...
Well, you could just create a new channel and just upload a bunch of Star Wars. I'm sure that'll get you right there. You get there, you'll be in that school quick.
This is my next experiment. How can I intentionally get a strike and then go to strike school?
How fast can you get stricken off the platform? That's
How fast can my channel get deleted?
And then the bonus question is, are keywords on shorts important? Not really. I think, because sometimes you'll see shorts with almost like no title at all, like just wacky stuff and have millions of views. To be honest, as we've talked about, we actually did a video on keywords versus tags and stuff on the main channel. You should go watch it if you don't understand the difference. And I think it's important to know that keywords are a great indicator of interest. And also they're helpful if you're a smaller channel trying to get traction, because if YouTube doesn't know enough about your video, it will use those words to try to connect it somewhat to whatever the subject is. But at a certain point, it stops mattering. And we've talked about this. So I did a video a while back where I ranked #1 in search for a video I never made a video of. Wait, did I just say that right? Or did I use the same word 3 times? Let me say that again.
Say seed.
How dare you? How dare you? Okay, let me try that again. You're really on one today. Okay. So, seed. Okay. I'm going to get shirts to say hashtag seed. Okay. I made a video where I ranked #1 for a keyword that I never made a video on. And the reason that works is because at some point, YouTube is actually more interested in what people click when a word shows up rather than in search, for example, than what the actual word means. Like it's irrelevant. So, I wouldn't worry too much about keywords. It's cool that one blew up, but it probably had more to do with other things than the keyword.
I wouldn't base any decision off of one piece of content because then you're going to get yourself in a hole where you think something is winning when in fact it doesn't have nothing to do with that.
Now, the one exception being doubling down on content, but you also have to understand why something blew up. It could be like you make a video about something and it just so happens that a larger YouTuber has made content about a similar thing and you're drafting off of them, so to speak, like you're getting views off of them. And if you had released that video a week later or a week before, nothing would have happened. Like that's totally possible. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't experiment and shouldn't try it again. But every once in a while, we get lucky. I mean, that's what it is.
That's also the shorts world. Remember, this is not long form content we're talking about. This is shorts. Shorts are the wild, wild west. We don't always know what they're doing.
That is for sure. You say it again, sis. All right,
we
here we go.
Always know.
Hey, various hosts who may or may not be present.
People are really shining with their creativity here. I really like this. We're dealing with a creative bunch.
Well, we're creators, literally.
Exactly. They're like, all right, I got to write like an actual email. This is where I'm going to shine.
We had great ones last week. Some spectacular ones last week. So people are trying to up their game. I like it. Okay. I have a channel that I started 6 years ago that I never really saw much traction. I didn't really have a niche and I just uploaded random videos at random intervals. Gave up on it. And while still posting the occasional video over the years, just about a week ago, I do believe I found a niche and something I can be excited about producing. I'm really passionately into modeling and painting Warhammer 40,000 models. Cool. And I'm just as passionate about the lore of the universe. I uploaded a video last week about some of the models I've worked on and the lore that I've written about them. I didn't put much effort into the video itself and exploded in views compared to the other videos of no more than 50 or so. It broke 300 views in the first 24 hours. Wow. I'm really encouraged and motivated to do more videos like this with much more effort. I follow other channels who either do modeling, painting, or just lore. But I really like to do both. I think I can model and paint, and in between steps and process, switch to lore blurbs while I'm painting. I also noticed a lot of Warhammer 40,000 channels see a lot of quick growth, upwards of 100,000 subs in the first year. Do you think it's worth doing this? Is it worth a shot? Awesome that you found something that you're passionate about that you can potentially get some views on, because that's the real trick. That's the trick of YouTube. The people coming in thinking, oh, I can just put anything together and it's going to grow. I got some bad news for you. You're going to have something people want to watch. So the fact that you found something that connects with an audience and you like to do is fantastic. The other thing is some people will find things that work really well, but they don't like doing it. And I feel bad for them. A lot of creators like that. So in this particular case, the only reason I'm even kind of mildly aware of this is because I have a friend that does little models. Plus, the video game 40,000, the Warhammer 40,000 just came out too. So I'm tangentially aware of this particular niche. So yeah, you should absolutely do this. We actually have a, and I've talked about this before. I don't even remember if the link is in the description, but I'll put it there again. If you are a Boost member or above, you have access to a Discord that that I actually originally set up for group coaching a couple of years ago. And there's some really very smart people in there that would love to help you with your channel, like for free. I mean, you're already paying for Boost, so it's thing. You just click, you're in there. And there's a person in there that his name's Watchtower that does lore-based YouTube channels, and I think he'd give you some great advice on lore and how to mix that in with your content. So I think this is a great idea. I think the painting is one aspect of it, and then to lock in a story, because YouTube's all about stories in some way. You're always telling a story in some way. This would be a great thing. What do you think, Jen? This sounds interesting.
I think it's awesome. I think anything that you're passionate about and that can drive you long enough where you're going to see the views.
Honestly, YouTube can also just be a matter of how long you're willing to stay on the platform. And if you're passionate about it and you can stay and you can wait until it's your turn to shine, you're in a good place. But most people don't want to wait. So if you're doing something that, you know, is a little bit different, mixed, and you're concerned about the mix, if you continue to do it and be consistent long enough, you'll still win. I don't know if you get 100K in the first year, but you'll still win.
Yes. I think this sounds like a phenomenal idea. There's not a lot of channels out there, I think, doing this. Now, of course, that also means there is a big potential viewership, right? So the one thing is, he already mentioned there's a couple 100,000 subscriber channels. The product line is pretty vast, and the viewership, the people who play those games definitely and play the games and, you know, paint the figures, definitely watch YouTube. So there is a good total addressable market. So definitely a potential. So look at some of the channels that have succeeded. Take notes of some of their more popular videos and write down what you think people liked about them. Go into the comment section, read what people are saying, and try to figure out, like, what was the thing that hooked them about those videos, and then start adding your own twist to that type of content. All right, we have a couple of emails, and then we'll see how it goes. So this is going to be a conversation piece here. The subject is, does the Boost audience need to meet Savage?
Oh.
So it is I'll explain this in a minute. Let's read the email from Chance. Hello. I contend that the viewers of this new channel may be too coddled, as demonstrated by the fact that they are unbothered by repeatedly asking for this email. Travis may roll his eyes, but ultimately he obliges. What say you, Travis? Should this audience know what the answer would be if it was posted by Savage? That's Chance.
Oh, man.
Chance is embarrassing me. Let me explain what Chance is talking about. What this tells me about Chance is that he has been watching vidIQ for a while, and has been more specifically watching the live streams on Tuesdays. Now, here's why I say that. So, by the way, the live streams on the vidIQ channel changed recently. They're going with different formats now. But for the longest time, for many years, and all the way up until very, very recently, there were channel audits on Tuesdays. We'd go in and, you know, they would pick from the audience different channels that they could audit on the live stream. And there was a character, I'll just say a character, and I'll explain a little bit of the backstory here in a minute, that I would play, called Dr. Savage, who would come in and just say just ridiculous stuff and just be very savage to people. Now, the origin of Dr. Savage actually came from VidCon 2019, shortly after I came to work at vidIQ. We were at VidCon, and at our booth, we were giving away the meme glasses, which is what Dr. Savage wears here. For the video audience, I will show what I'm talking about. These, right? We were giving these away, and towards the end of one of the days, I was talking to someone else who was at the booth working with me, and I go, "Wouldn't it be funny if?" And I don't know why it just randomly came up to me. I go, "Wouldn't it be funny if someone went around saying, like, how savage things were, but they totally weren't? Like I'm so savage that I leave the toilet paper unrolled the other direction. You know what I mean? Like, some people like it over, some people like it under. Just dumb stuff." So I just kept saying that. And then I put the glasses on, and I put on a voice. I was like, "I'm so savage," you know. I don't even remember the things, but I used to say, and I was like, and people started laughing. I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start an Instagram. So that weekend, I started an Instagram, and I just threw up a whole bunch of videos. And it really took off. It was the weekend I was there, I gained like 100 followers on Instagram. I'm like, how am I growing followers faster on that than my real Instagram? Like, it was very weird. So we get back from VidCon, and again, I kind of forgot about it after that. And Rob Wilson, who, you know, the voice and face of vidIQ, says, "Hey, you want to come on and have Savage come on?" And the funniest thing about it was, I was positive he was annoyed by Savage. But he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, sure." I didn't know what to do. So I went on there. We tried it. He laughed, and I thought that would be it. But no, he would ask again. And then every so often, this character would come on and just say some of the most outlandish stuff and give terrible advice. And then we had a storyline where He fired Rob Wilson when Rob Wilson went on his sabbatical, and then when Rob came back, he I don't know. Anyway, there's a bunch of lore behind Dr. Savage, but I haven't done it in months, mainly because I've been concentrating on this, and then of course the live streams kind of changed recently. So what Chance is saying here is there's this character that a lot of people in the vidIQ family and ecosystem have no idea who it is. Like if you don't watch the live streams, you don't know who Dr. Savage is. If you're on the podcast, you don't know who Dr. Savage is. Probably never heard of him, but he exists and he is around. And if you go back to old live streams, there's some silly stuff out there. So that's what he's referring to. Okay. Let's do another email. A two-part question for the podcast by Lauren. Yeah, two-parter. First of all, your podcast is... Oh, first of all, hello, Jen and Travis.
Oh, classic.
First of all, your podcast is amazing.
Oh.
I have watched every episode and learned so much. Thank you so much.
That is just like the nicest thing ever.
You know what's funny? Because some people... I think they really legitimately just type it in to be nice, but they don't understand what that really feels like on the other side. Like, it's great. Fantastic. I love seeing that. It's amazing.
Even if they're just being nice, I'm still taking it like to heart.
I do. 100% I do. Okay. I'm a Middle-earth content creator called The Table of Durin. And by this, I mean I take a closer look at the stories written by the great author J.R.R. Tolkien. By the way, for people who don't know, that's, the reason I even know anything about this isn't because I watched any of the movies, but it's because I love the video games. So I'm really interested in this email. I'll talk about the complete life of different characters, answering questions from fans that theorize about and cover events like the wars happened in the books. I have two different questions for you, if that's okay. First of all, I find it hard to come up with a great hook for the video. After 30 seconds, only 60% still watches. My process for the hook is this. I first create my title and thumbnail. Then my hook goes as follows. First, I kind of repeat the title, and then I talk about the previous videos I have covered related to the topic to give more credibility. Then I talk about three main points what I will cover in the video. What could I do to make the percentage go up while still making it clear what the video is about? Okay, that's the first question.
All right.
So,
okay. We're not off to a great start. We're here to help you, though.
Yes, let's do this.
We are here to help you.
Do it.
This is good. I think it's time to try something new.
Okay.
I'm not sure this would be the best, if you look into your attention graphs, I'm not sure this would be the best way to format a hook. Not saying that you can't mention some of these things after the viewer is invested, but the way I like to challenge creators to approach a new method with this is to identify the value of the video that you want to make. You have your idea. Identify that value in 2 sentences or less. Why is someone going to watch this video? Why are they going to care? What are they going to walk away with? When you know that information, you know how to take almost that exact language and flip it to tempt them to that value exactly. So hopefully that's not confusing. Travis, can we come up with a terrible example? Should it be about cake or should we just go crazy?
I think it's be about seeds, to be honest.
Be about seeds. Okay. So let's...
Listen, you painted yourself into this one. I'm letting you fry on this one. Go ahead and cook.
The seeds.
Hold up, let her cook.
I literally can't stand you. No, I'm just kidding.
You did this to me earlier, so it's your turn. I know.
This is a brutal... Okay, who said Savage isn't even here?
Right?
Savage is here today.
Savage is partially me. That's true.
Okay, so if you're making a video about... Let's just do it, Travis. Let's go with the seeds. So the video idea is what to plant in September.
Okay.
Then summarizing that value, or at least as the idea, in 2 sentences or less, should say that the viewer walks away with this video with the knowledge of planting X, Y, and Z to be prepared to harvest them in the upcoming months. Something along those lines. Obviously, as a creator, this is going to be more specific. And then if that's what they're walking away with and that's what they're being tempted, how do you make an intro out of this? It can be in a lot of different formats. I mean, it could be talking directly to the audience.
Are you feeling confused as what seeds you should start planting in September or what plants you should start planting in September so that they're ready by X months? That's one way. That's just for the hook. Then you have them, they're interested. They're interested. So they're like, yes, wow, I was wondering that. That's why I clicked on that video. You have the opportunity there to go on a little bit further and say, if you want to mention those 3 things, I know that you mentioned you had kind of 3 bullet points you were going to walk through the story. You can do that after the fact. I don't know if that's necessarily necessary for a video. I think it depends. What do you think, Travis? Do you think that's a good strategy to always list what's coming up in the content?
So it depends. For me, it really depends on how long the video is. I think these are. I think this is a great way to start. I think what you said, literally, you could literally just do exactly what you said and be good. Another way of thinking of it, but using some of these same kind of techniques, is so I love what they said here about that they kind of repeat the title and then talk about but the previous video part is the thing that you don't want to do right off the bat. It's a little bit of a turn off and it's kind of irrelevant. They didn't click on the previous video, they clicked on this video. I know why you did it because I used to do it all the time. Then Renee Ritchie told me one time, he goes, you should stop doing that. I'm like, okay. You do want to reinforce the title and thumbnail. The thing is, if you repeat the title and you end up changing the title later because it didn't perform well, then you're kind of not in the place that you thought you were going to be in. But the idea should always be reinforced. So I like that what Jen is saying is, these are the things you're going to learn by the end of this video. And that does the same thing. It reinforces why they clicked and ensures them that what they clicked is exactly what they're going to get. One thing you can do is while you're talking about that, you can use B-roll of things you're going to do later in the video, which is kind of one of those teaser ideas. So you said you're a Middle Earth content creator. So let's see, you're answering questions. So what you could do is maybe use a little bit of B-roll from the books or from animations or whatever that kind of explain some of the things you're going to talk about while you're saying, after this, you're going to know how to do, or you're going to know about this, that, and the other, and be showing these things at the beginning so that you're visually hooked as well. Another aspect of this, which we haven't really mentioned, is your retention, your beginning retention will fluctuate wildly based on how many people are watching it that are new to your channel. Because people that are new to your channel are immediately going to drop off a lot, and a higher percentage of people who watch the channel a lot. So sometimes you'll look at a video and go, oh, this must have been a really good retending video because it's like 75% in the first 30 seconds. But if you look at like your audience, you might notice that the vast majority of people that watched were your subscribers. So of course that was going to work. But the people that are not new to you, the people you want to grow into, did not hang out. Their view duration is going to be a lot lower. So that in and of itself is a big deal. That's a really important thing to understand, is that just because your hook worked for the people that know you, it may not work for people who don't know you, and that number will fluctuate. All right, that's the first part. And I'm hoping
the first part. Do you think they need that recap though? If the story needs that recap, you said you've mentioned previous episodes before. You definitely can do the recap.
Yeah.
Don't open with it.
Right.
But you need to definitely treat every video as if it doesn't need that recap. If there's information that's missing, you need to incorporate that into this story.
I agree.
So that a viewer tuning in, a first-time viewer, has the same experience that someone who's been watching every single one of your videos has. Because if they're confused, oh my gosh, if I'm confused, I can't click off fast enough.
I totally agree with that. 100% agree. And my second question is to how to ask for subscribers. I'm currently over 1 year with my channel and have 580 subscribers and 33 hours away from the 4,000 hours of watch time. This is because I almost never ask to subscribe to my channel. I know that Rob and Dan say that if you ask for it, you need to wait until the end of the video so the viewer has got what they came for first. But I find it hard to implement it in the video since the videos are story-based, and I also think that if I ask to subscribe, the viewer will think the video is over and quit, while I want them to stay through the end screen to the next video. How can I bring this on board? Thank you for answering these questions, and keep this amazing podcast. Okay. Great
good
question.
One. Yeah, really good one.
I got all types of thoughts on this, but I want Jen to start because I want to hear her thoughts.
Okay. If you put a call to action in the middle of a video, so the call to action being subscribe to the channel, I like to make it really relevant to what's happening. So for instance, if, we wanted you to subscribe right now and be like, oh my gosh, if you felt this problem too, and you definitely think you should not put this in the middle of the video, you have to subscribe right now. You have no choice. You have to subscribe to the channel.
You must do it.
You must. That's a fun way to incorporate in a story kind of format. You're dealing with a lot of characters. You're dealing with a lot of, when you have a lot of characters, you have people who prefer some characters. I don't know exactly what the stories are, but there could be an opportunity there. Like if you think the bad guy deserved to win or something, also you can subscribe. I wouldn't suggest interrupting content to say you should subscribe to my channel. I think the content's more important. People will subscribe. You're not getting subscribers because you're not asking. That I don't believe to be true. But I do think that too many call to actions at the end, like you said, we have that ending language. People can click off before the call to action if you want them to be there for that end screen. Travis, what do you think?
So I split this into a couple of different aspects. Number one, if you're asking me like, well, when should I ask for a subscriber? I would say right around the peak, right around the climax of the video, because that's when the chemicals in the brain are going off. If you did a good job and people are like, oh, that was great or whatever, like that's the moment you hook them. You're like, listen, if this was helpful to you, hit that subscribe button. Or if you didn't know this tip, hit that subscribe button or hit that like button, whatever. And they're actually I think most people are more likely to click after they've, and this is what, you were implying that, after they got the value doesn't have to be at the end. It literally can be in the middle. It just depends on when you're giving the value. If the video is how to make here we go again, how we make the perfect cake. And as soon as
gosh, can someone send Travis a cake recipe?
I know. If that's the video and you're about to taste it for the first time, you go, if you wish you could taste this right now, hit that subscribe button. There's a moment where it's like, okay, cool, that's cool, right? But then there's the reality of the situation. So here's the actual reality of subscriptions. And I know this because I actually once upon a time was in a beta test that I don't know why it ever didn't continue, where YouTube was testing the option to see when people are clicking subscribe on your videos and likes and dislikes and unsubscribes. It was an amazing thing. I loved it. So when I had access to it, I was testing the heck out of it. Oh, I was doing all types of things. And I think I learned everything I need to know about it. The thing is, I don't know why. I don't know. I forget exactly why they didn't go through with it. I think it was such a great tool. They should have gone through with it. But I will admit the data almost never changed. And here's what the data was. All the time, the vast majority of likes on a video come within the first 10 seconds or so. And the reason for that is because it's mostly the people who come to your channel that that's the first thing you do. Oh, I love going to Travis's video. Like, yep. That's what they hit. They just hit like. They don't even wait for you to say nothing. They just like.
I do too.
I like it. I like this person. Like, that's what they do, right? And I would never ask for it. I never asked for people to hit like, and they were getting them all at the beginning, right? The second thing I found is that asking for subscribes always worked, no matter where I did it. When I say always worked, I mean, again, I could see in the timeline when I would say something and when people would hit subscribe. Again, this feature doesn't exist anymore. I don't know why. I think they should. But every single time, no matter where I put it, there was a spike in subscribers. Now, you have to look at that and go, okay, if I do a call to action and all I have to do is ask to subscribe and the subscribes will go up, that's good. Yeah, but we don't know anything about those subscribers. We don't know if they're just doing because they're like, oh, this person told me to subscribe. I guess I'm supposed to hit subscribe and then never watch another thing. Like, I don't know, right? You'd be surprised. Some people actually think hitting subscribe costs them money because YouTube is a huge platform. There are people who are not on YouTube every single day. And if they're watching, they're like, oh, they said I guess I'm supposed to? Like, that isn't necessarily the person you want to subscribe. So it is a thing. Now, the other thing is, as you get closer to milestones, I have found that people are much more likely to subscribe to help you hit that milestone. I've noticed that as well. So when you get closer to 1,000 subscribers, if you're like at 900 subscribers, and in the last couple of videos before you hit it, you're like, hey, listen, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It would be really great if you would hit subscribe to help me do that. I have found proportionately more number of people will subscribe in that last kind of moment of almost hitting a thing because they want to be a part of it. Yes, they also want to be the person.
It's the value that they're receiving. Yeah. I'm not just subscribing to your channel so you can, have more subscribers. I'm subscribing to help you achieve something. Right. I'm a part of this. If
Right.
there's no value tied behind it, then that doesn't necessarily exist all the time.
Yes, I totally agree. Amazing stuff. Okay, we got. I hope that helped answer your question. We got one more question, and we got to skedaddle because
Wait,
Jen is.
also though, Travis,
Oh,
didn't
go
we
ahead.
just talk about this? Was it the podcast or was it the main channel video? We literally just talked about our viewer behavior for subscribing.
Did we?
We did, because I was talking about a channel and we were like, okay, well, how many videos did it take you to subscribe?
Oh yes. I don't remember where that was. I mean, we do so much content. I do
Oh my
remember that
gosh,
conversation. Though.
that is so funny.
Yeah, and the I love that because I found just through kind of not like any study or anything, but it takes between 7 to 10 videos for most people to subscribe to any channel. So that's the other aspect.
Yeah,
Some people will
I think
naturally
it's just
subscribe.
waiting. I've never subscribed to a channel because somebody just said subscribe to my channel,
Right.
unless it was actually to help them
Hit a
achieve a
goal.
goal. And I was like, let's all do this.
Yeah. It's funny the way that works, right? It's such an easy thing. It's like, I'm about to hit 1,000 subscribers. It'd be great if you'd help me. And so many people are like, yeah, I'm in. Like,
They
it's,
see 10,000, they're like, that's me.
that's me. Yeah,
That's me. I did that.
totally. I love it. All right, let's get this last one. This subject's called, how should I monetize my leftovers?
Ooh,
First of all, I'm just going to say
love this.
we have the most creative listeners on the planet. All right. Dear Travis and the android designated as Gen 18.
Gen 18 here to answer your question.
Gen 18 here to, and for those who missed the episodes where Gen 18 was born, you need to go back and listen to them. Okay. This is a bit long, but it's relevant to the question I have. Plus, I really need to tell you the impact you both have had on me and my journey. Uh-oh. Are we
Hopefully
going
it
to
was
have
positive.
a moment? I hope so too. I don't know what that means. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna try. It is pretty long, but I'm gonna try to get through it. It's the last one of the day. Okay, I have a small gaming channel that's been in development hell for 6 years due to life and family concerns. I usually make Let's Plays full of games, but recently when I work on them, I feel like the games I cover are irrelevant within weeks. This has created soul-crushing deadlines and the feel of burnout before I even get started. Fast forward to a couple months ago, and by chance I find a podcast called Tube Talk. I took all of your advice and ended up completely changing how my videos were made. I looked at what others were doing in my space and realized I was trying to make my content interesting instead of trying to make interesting content. What?
Oh my gosh.
Bruh.
I would drop my mic right now.
Mind blown. I am literally going to steal that sentence and start putting it in things in the vidIQ Slack. Let me read that again because y'all are going to need. I just got tingles. I need to read that again for people who are watching or listening to the podcast and hear what they just said. I looked at what others were doing in my space and realized I was trying to make my content interesting instead of trying to make interesting content. Before I finish reading this email, I pride myself on being able to say really interesting things in a way that makes you think, or things that'll stick with you. I like putting words together in sentences that'll do that. That entered my brain deeply in a way that I won't forget. So thank you
Absolutely
for
not. Good luck, all of my creators who are listening. You will hear this.
Right. Holy monkey. Okay. Wow. I'm blown away by that. Okay.
Okay.
Let me recover. Okay. Thanks to you, I now have a revived passion for the whole process. Every idea feels like it's clicking into place, and I'm finally ready to go all the way this time. But I have a dilemma. Dun, dun, dun.
We will help you.
Let's see what we can do.
We will help you.
This new content takes a lot more time and editing. To keep my community healthy, I decided to stream all the games I record, making it an event with my audience being part of the final video. Here's the dilemma. Most of the games I stream will never make it into the finished video, and 90% of what does will be cut down for time. A lot of these games mean a lot to me, but won't have enough meat to put into a full video. I thought maybe I could cut them down into full Let's Plays like I used to. That way people don't have to watch 5 unedited streams, but polishing these videos takes time or money if I hire an editor. How do I properly monetize this to make it worth my while? Should I make it exclusive, Patreon channel membership, or should I put it in a separate channel and monetize it normally? If it was free, would it cannibalize my video VODs? Is it even worth my time? Should I stay focused on my core content forever? I know it's really early to be thinking about stuff like this, but it doesn't hurt to think ahead. Thank you for reviving my love for YouTube and getting me back on my journey. This has quickly become my favorite podcast, and I can't wait to listen for years to come. You are truly wonderful people, and yes, androids are people too. Peace and love. All right.
You gave Gen 18 a heart.
Gen 18 now has a heart. Okay, this is interesting though.
How do we summarize what we have happening here?
I think I wish that for whatever reason it's not enabled on this email thing. You know that thing that says summarize this email? I don't have that. But I think usually just click it, it tells you. I think the takeaway is this. They figured out the passion. They figured out the new type of content, but that takes a while, right? So that's number one. They have this thing, they figured it out. This is what's going to take them to the next level. In the meantime, they have content that they stream that they realize that most of that won't ever make it into a finished video. And like I said, 90% of it will be cut for time. And a lot of these, but the games mean something to this person, to this creator. But it won't, but they alone aren't part of this new editing.
So we're dealing with like behind the scene extra stream content.
Sounds like it. And it sounds like to me, because it says, I thought maybe I could cut them down into full Let's Plays. That way people don't have to watch 5 unedited streams, but polishing these videos take time. So you can't even, like, you're in this weird, like, I want to take these things and do something with them, but I don't know what I should do with them. So I'm going to tell you right now, before we give you an answer, that there are multiple ways of slicing this cake. And yes, I said cake again.
Here we go.
Jen's going to give you a slice. I'm going to give you a slice, but I feel like much like you had that moment where you realized you needed to make interesting content. This is going to be one of those moments where we're going to give you ingredients. You're going to have to take them and figure out what works best for you, right? So in your particular case, Jen, what would you do in this particular case? You're trying to get these super edited videos that you know are going to do the thing. But in the meantime, all the work that gets there, you kind of want to do something with that.
First thought is community style videos. Seems like they figured out more of a discoverable strategy, which is awesome. But we are dealing with, we're dealing with long streams, which oftentimes have very funny moments. You could do community driven content that is more along the lines of, behind the scenes. You could have moments from each stream that feel similar. What game? Do we know what game they're playing?
They didn't say.
Okay, so say, you get killed every single time. You literally make compilation of the moments you get killed and like your reaction and the audience's reaction while you're, the audience's reaction while you're streaming. Is there a super discoverable strategy for this? I don't know, but I think that the best thing to do is mark when you finish streaming, pull out the bits that you remember that you think are the most valuable. Don't put yourself in a position where 3 weeks later you have to sit through a 5-hour stream and you don't remember what happened. You end streaming and you're like, oh my gosh, this was funny. This was a great moment. Either cut those, timestamp those, have those on file somewhere to cut down your time. If it's something that you could use. I don't know if I, really have an exact answer, but it just feels more like community content.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So again, I want to be clear. I don't think we're giving you a definitive answer here because there's so many options here. We're going to give you options that you should look through and then sprinkle your own little sauce on top of it. I'm going to say I like the idea of if a lot of these videos, and I think you even says a lot of these games don't even make it into these videos, that if you're just doing streaming and stuff, like either just leave it live on that channel and just let it be there. Or if you really don't want it to be on that channel because you want it to be hyper-focused and there's nothing wrong with that, just throw it on another channel. And then don't worry about it. Don't put any extra time into it because as you said, you don't have a lot of extra time. I understand the thought of like, well, I'm doing all this extra stuff to try to get this little bit. You're doing hours to get minutes, right? But that's YouTube, by the way. That's everything YouTube. It's like you're doing hours to get minutes. But if you're like, I do want to do something with that, either leave it live on the channel because you've already live streamed it, right? Or just put it on another channel and just don't worry about it. Don't worry about editing. Don't do that. Like you have to put all this time into what you've admitted is a lot more editing, a lot more production, but you also feel like that's the way forward. there is this constant thought of like, well, how do I get the most bang for my buck?
Yeah.
I'm doing this other stuff. And I get that. Totally get it.
It could be too much for right now, though. We can't.
Yes.
Is it going to lose focus on what's working?
Right. And the other thing is, what's to say, and I'll give you an example of this, what's to say you can't just keep copies of the streams and just do something with them later? There's a larger YouTube creator, gaming creator, who's now like at 1 million subscribers and doing very well, who is now uploading the live streams he did like 4 years ago, and they're getting tons of views. They're getting tons of views.
People
because
love
now he's
nostalgic
big.
content. That's funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Because people wanted to see what he was like when he first started out.
Like how
if
many
he
times have you watched a creator's first video that you
Right.
find? Like, just to see the difference. It's so funny.
But if he had put those out and just let them sit there, they probably wouldn't get as many views as they do now that he's releasing that he's a bigger YouTuber. So it's interesting, right? And he's got like 5 or 6 channels where he has like a VOD channel, a live stream, like all these things. So I feel like if you think that there's value in those streams, because every once in a while you'll do a stream, you're like, that wasn't even worth like ever watching again. And that's fine. So then don't
That's
do
fine.
anything with it. That's fine. You're not necessarily going to want to save every single one of your live streams. So I think at the end of the day, there are a lot of ways to slice this piece of pie. But ultimately, if you already know what your passion is and the fact that you figured it out, you are so far ahead of other YouTube creators in this particular space that that's where your focus should be. This other stuff can be a heavy distraction and can send you into analysis paralysis. Not a good thing.
Yes. And it will come to you. It will come to you. Something will unlock the idea. Creators have to continuously slightly pivot things they're doing. You can't just stay the same. So as you continue being on YouTube, as you continue making the videos you're making now, learning new skills, listening to our wonderful podcast, something will unlock a thought where you're like, oh my gosh, what if I ... And then you just go and try it. But I wouldn't force this idea to come to life.
1,000% agree. And we know you agree as well because you're intelligent content creators that listen to the best podcast on the face of the planet. All right. That was fun. It was exciting. And it went very fast.
It really
Went
did
very
go
fast.
fast.
Went very fast. Of course, we'll try to be back again next week. I'm pretty sure we will be. I don't think there's any reason why we wouldn't be. I'm thinking, is there a holiday or something? I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't think so, aside from the fact that it's going to be October.
Bro, don't get me started with that. How?
Why?
How? Because how?
Travis, it's the best month for us before rainy season hits.
I don't like this time of year. Look, first of all, I don't know what even matters to me. I barely leave the house anymore. Everything looks the same to me every day of the week anyway. But, where I live, we're coming into the months where it gets dark at 4 p.m. Like, that's not fun. Like, how is that fun? Like, it gets literally dark at 4 p.m. We're just coming out of the season where it wouldn't get dark till 10 p.m.
Oh my gosh. So
yeah.
dramatic.
It's such a dramatic thing. And it just gets really kind of, depressing. But I'm in the house all the time, which is depressing enough anyway. So I guess I'll just leave it at that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been the most spectacular podcast ever.
Whoa.
What?
What you been watching on YouTube this week?
Oh, what did I watch on YouTube this week? Let me take a look. This is a good question. I've been just watching The Boost the entire week.
Just watching The Boost, subscribing,
That's all I ever
unsubscribing, just to subscribe again.
Subscribe, unsubscribe. I will also mention that it's interesting, like the one piece of advice I'll give, and we'll have to make a bigger video about this, is that you never know who's watching your content. And it's interesting because I'm now in a position to give someone an opportunity at working for a larger YouTuber to do some kind of side work that I've been working with for many years, because they were like, hey, do you know anyone who can do all these things? And it's a paid gig. It's a good gig. And it's like, so I'm going to pass it off to someone that I hope is a good match. And that's only because someone I just came across randomly, and I became kind of friendly with them. And I'm like, this is a good opportunity for you. So let me slide this your way, see what you think. You just never know. Be out there and be a part of the community. So what was the thing that I watched that I thought was particularly fun? This is actually probably one from a week and a half. Oh no, I'll tell you, because I just watched these yesterday.
Oh no, what is it?
The series of videos accidentally became a meme. You ever seen any of those by BuzzFeed?
No, that sounds amazing.
They are great. So the memes that you might see, I'll send you a couple links. I accidentally became a meme. So almost any meme you can think of, they actually interview the person from the meme and how that actually happened.
That's
so like
incredible.
the thinking guy one, the why you always lying song guy, the chocolate rain, like any of those people, like they've interviewed them.
Wow. One could only dream so big to become a meme.
It's weird because none of them thought they would be. So like,
I mean,
yeah.
who grows up and they're like, I want to be a meme, aside from me, literally right now.
What I think is funny is two of them that I watched, they became memes like in 2015 and even before, back when getting so many notifications about them blowing up and going viral actually made their phones like overheat. They had to buy like new phones. That was a thing back in the day. You get so many notifications, your phone would be like, nah, I'm good. I don't think I can do this anymore.
I was never that popular, I guess.
Yeah, me neither. I'll tell you. What about you?
I've been watching, I mean, a really big channel. I got so sucked into Two Brits Try, like the channel
Oh.
Jolly.
Interesting.
But so it's just two British guys who just try things.
They just try different things.
They try different things. I watched they try New York pizza and like New York deli sandwiches because I'm in New York now.
Love
so it
it.
was super relevant and all I wanted to do was eat. So, you know, wouldn't make me mad on the other side of the country. And they are just hilarious. I just love their content. And everything is usually like so good to them. Like they're just so positive.
I can't wait to get Rob Wilson back on here because we'll have to have him try some stuff. No, he's funny because we talk about food and stuff that they have over here that they don't have over here. He used to live in Vancouver, Vancouver, British Columbia, which is only a couple hours away from me. So the type of food he has access to now is not the same that when he was around here. And that type of content works. It just there's so many channels that do that.
So funny.
So good.
So funny.
I love it. All right, look, everybody, we will be back soon again. We hope that you have enjoyed. And why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're here on YouTube. And if you're not and you're listening to the podcast, you probably already are subscribed. So that's cool, too. But there'll be a link in the show notes as to how to get a hold of us if you want to. It's the boost at vidIQ.com, which I did not say earlier. I just realized. And, of course, there's a text messaging option there for the audio podcast listeners. So now you had to listen to the end of the video to understand how to email us. Look at that.
Really testing the retention there for next
I never
week's
do that,
emails.
though. I just forgot. All right, anyway, we'll see you guys and gals next time.